It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.
Star Wars, da da da, Star Wars, da da da, Star Wars, da da da, Wars, dun 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 dun.
Hey folks, welcome back to my shop. I'm taking a break from Fallout tonight to bring you this Star Wars AT-AT video. I picked up this AT-AT last week online, and I feel I got a really good price on it. I thought it was going to be all broken up and stuff because it didn't look good in the pictures. And it came in, and I'm like, oh great, I can do a restoration video. Now I took it out of the box, and you know, most of the stuff was there, and I go to clean it off, which I always do, and I realized it wasn't in bad shape at all. It was just dirty. Once I cleaned it, I realized, well, there's no point in doing a restoration video because all you're going to see is basically an assembly video. So I decided against that. But then I thought, wait a minute, I did a comparison video a while back of the Imperial Shuttle with the original Imperial Shuttle from the original vintage toy collection Kenner with the Tonka shuttle that they did. I forget what year it was. And I'm like, wait a minute, I have the Power of the Force, as they call it. I have the Power of the Force AT-AT from 1997. So I dug it out, and I'm like, I can do a comparison video on this, and there's quite a few differences. And I'd like to hear your opinion about it. So we're going to get started here pretty soon. The only thing I wonder about, and I've always said this about the Power of the Force, it's like when the Power of the Force toys come out, oh, and I know some collectors are going to be like, oh no, it's Power of the Force 2, it's Power of the Force 2. Look, I don't care one way or the other. I really don't. But the label says Power of the Force, so that's what I'm calling it. In 1997. It is what it is. You can argue with me if you want to. I don't care. I'm just going by what the box says. So the Power of the Force stuff came out, and the figures, at first I started collecting them just for, and I realized, I did realize it just wasn't the same as when I was a kid. So, but I did have a large collection, and I ended up getting rid of it. I sold it to another collector friend of mine who really likes the Power of the Force stuff because it was more in his era, so to speak. I think it might be what it was in the 90s. It wasn't my Star Wars. My Star Wars was in 77 through 85. Just my opinion. I mean, that was my Star Wars, and then the rest of Star Wars came along. I enjoyed them. I'm not here to criticize or critique them at all in any way, shape, or form. But I think that might be why I didn't like it. But the figures were all like buff. I think they were trying to measure up to He-Man. But I'm not going to go into a whole big thing about that. But I did buy some of the ships because the ships said they used the same molds as the original, and they were cheap to find too. So I bought up a few of them, and you know they're pretty cool. It wasn't the originals. But I look at what they're worth just out of, curiosity, because this is actually from my own collection. I do have a Power of the Force ship collection upstairs. And the big, huge difference in price. And I always wondered why. Anyway, if you know why, put them in the comments. I'd like to hear your opinion about that. Anyway, on with the video. Let's compare these two AT-ATs. So at first look, I notice that they're different colors. This is the 97 version, and this is the 81 version. And the 97 version, this is like a grayer color. This is more of a tan, and it's got like speckles all over it to make it look more worn. That's the very first thing I noticed about it. Then if you look a little closer at the heads themselves, let's close the lids. The guns here in the front, if you could see them, these have missiles to shoot. In the 97 version, you stick a missile. Unfortunately, I don't have the missiles. I just learned today that they existed. I've had this for a few years. I never knew it shot missiles till I did my research today. And sure enough, empty holes where the missiles should go, which is kind of a nice feature because we didn't get that in the 80s for our Star Wars toys because it all started with the rocket firing Boba Fett where it was a safety issue. The second thing I noticed right away is the chin guns. These chin guns here are, well, they actually have bubbles inside the castings, and it doesn't look good. And they are original, and they're made differently than the ones from the original too. These are actually, this is the only replacement part I had to put on this one that's not original. These are the castings of the chin guns for the vintage one that I make myself in Jenner Custom Toys on eBay. Now, to operate these, this one I don't like. You got to go back and forth with a lever on the side of the head here. It just seems awkward to use. It just seems awkward to use. While these, take this flap down, same flap that's right here. And there's a handle in here, which this has the handle on the inside too. I'll throw a picture of that right now. Okay, what I just showed you was the handle that's on the inside of the newer one, and I don't know, I might have put the older one up on there too. I don't need to read the subtitles. But the difference between the two handles, and what it does is that it moves the heads around, and if you push them forward, you can make them look up and go around. It's almost like you got a little puppet. But on the original one, 1981, if you push the button, they light up and they move the chin guns like that. And that's the only noise you get from the 81 version. These batteries might be a little bit weak, but it does work. But you move the head around like a little puppet. Now these, you can still move the head around, but to get the, like I showed you before, to get these to work, you got to go back and forth this lever. And it's just, I don't like that part. I like this way. I don't know why they did it differently. You know, whatever.
Mr. Bruce is being weird again. All right, then.
That's the original. Can't see it too well. And here comes the 97 version with that lever. That's another thing, it kind of sticks sometimes. You got to go back and forth each time manually. I like the red color, but we can always change it on the other one. As you can see on this side, you can see the flap is down. You can kind of see the interior. And there's a computer in there. Like, well, not a computer, but it's a toy computer display in there. And it makes sounds. Let me show the picture, and then I'll play the sounds.
Star Wars, da-da-da, Star Wars, da-da-da, Star Wars, da-da-da, Wars.
Okay, like I said, that's the inside of this guy. And there's 3 buttons right here. I know you can't see on this one. That's why I showed you the picture. Let's get this guy out of here. But looking in here, the first thing I noticed was, of course, is this computer unit right here with the 3 buttons on the bottom. They all make different noises. The first one, I believe, makes it like sound like it's walking. Hopefully the microphone's picking that up. Kind of a neat sound. That's something this one does not have. This one doesn't make any other noises than this. And a little bit of it is a disappointment. And then there's some talky stuff in here too where the screen lights up.
Target maximum firepower.
Kind of makes it a little more interesting. There's some more talky parts. You could fit 1 or 2 figures in there. I had a stormtrooper, or I'm sorry, a snow trooper. Well, I better make sure it's the right year. Yeah, 97. But another thing you notice is, and if you just go back to the picture I put up, the foot pegs in the 97 are actually quite smaller than in the original. The original foot pegs fit the original figures, but I guess they shrunk them down for Power of the Force. So if you go to put an original figure in there for whatever reason, it's not going to stand up. Likewise, if you take a newer Power of the Force figure and try and put it in the original one, it's going to stretch its hole out. Enough said on that. What else? Everything else is the same. I mean, the legs are the same. There's nothing much different for it. There was a piece missing on this guy. It's the grappling hook and a thing to wrap the tether around. Kind of like what's on the back of the snow speeder if you have one of those. As far as which one do I like better? Well, I'm always going to say I like the original better for the most part, just because, you know, we were kids and this is what we had to play with. It always reminded me of a big elephant. But play value, the sounds in this one they're pretty cool to have the sounds. I just wish these chin guns did what these chin guns do. And I probably put it in by now, but I will be putting a video up showing you what they look like when they're lit up. It's way too bright in here to show it on this camera. So that's about it. I mean, the stickers are different, of course. They did it a little bit different. It's made from the same molds. I believe Tonka made this one. You know, I mean, let me know, which one do you like better? To sell this one is a hell of a lot cheaper than this one. I'll tell you that, or to buy it, whatever. Loose, of course. Yeah. The only thing else we haven't compared yet is the box, and I'm going to throw that up here real quick. Now you can see the side-by-side comparisons of the box. The one on the right is the original box, Empire Strikes Back, AT-AT back in 1981. And the one on the left is 1997 Star Wars, The Power of the Force. And it looks almost the same, but you can see they highlight the missiles coming out of the side guns there in the front, and you know, it's not much different. It's just a different product. I mean, what can I say? That's about it. So there it is, just a quick comparison. I think I remember to put the light video in this. I didn't want to make this a really long video, and there's really don't know much to say about it. They're both good toys. Of course, me being old, I want the original, and I just got it, and I'm happy to add it to my collection for my display. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. You know, do you like Power of the Force better than the originals? Of course, it's going to depend on when you grew up. I mean, if you got a Power of the Force brand new when your first time watching a second set of Star Wars movies, I can understand that. Me, I'm old school, and that's why I like the originals from Kenner. And all right, well, that's all I have on this. So bye.
It's just Bruce. He don't bite. Hello.